This is the plaintiff, Gianna. She says she refuses to allow the defendant to rip her off by stealing her security deposit. She left the place in the same condition she received it. And now the defendant's turning around and ripping her off to the tune of $1,500. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Liat Mushlove. She says the house was super dirty and reeked of smoke when the plaintiff vacated. There were holes in the walls, dirty toilets, and the plaintiff left furniture behind. Oh, her? No way. She's accused of being a double crosser.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant is ripping her off something awful and she is not going to stand for it. But the defendant says she doesn't owe her former tenant a penny because the woman is a slob and the place stunk to high heaven when she vacated. It's the case of double cross stinker.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Gianna, tell me what's going on.
So I purchased our house, I should say closed on our house on August 16th. And
you didn't purchase a house, you sold the house.
Sorry, correct, yes.
Okay,
sold the house. And we closed the house on August 16th. And we left the house on October 17th. After the closing, we
Why didn't you leave at closing?
We were able to do a post-occupancy agreement to stay in the house for up to 3 months after we closed on the house. And we actually only stayed for 2 months after the closing.
All right.
So once we did the closing, we signed the post-closing occupancy agreement, we signed the as-is contract, we ended up leaving October 17th. And in that time, not once did Liat and that matter come to the house, look at the house, inspect the house. So when we left on October 17th, I was going to meet up with Liat, and she did not meet with me. I tried to meet with her. We had text messages going back and forth, and it wasn't until October 19th, that Monday, when she said she would be there at the house. So I sat there and I waited and did not hear from her. She said, she finally got back to me and said that she had another appointment to go to. And then she said she could be at the house later. Well, after that appointment, I never heard from her. It was close to 5:30 on that Monday. And I finally texted her and said, here's the code to the house. Please let me know. So at no point did we ever make an appointment to actually go through a walkthrough in the house. And
so there was no walkthrough at the time of closing, and there was no walkthrough when you moved out in October?
Correct. There was not.
All right. Is that correct, Ms. Mushlove? And what is your, did you ever do a walkthrough either at the time of the closing for the sale or at the time of that they vacated with them?
So we wanted to do a walkthrough when they vacated the property. I actually texted Gianna. She only answered me a day after. And then eventually on October 19, she texted me that she can meet with me. Only 40 minutes after I said I'm going to be there, she texted me back. We went back and forth. And then when I wanted to do the walkthrough with her, she just texted me that she will not be able to be there and that I should let myself in. And I did the walkthrough by myself. They couldn't come.
Did you do a walkthrough at the time of closing?
No, we had the inspection, and then after the inspection, when we signed the post-occupancy agreement, we signed that they're going to leave the property in the condition that we got it. We assume the condition that we got.
In the condition that it was in at closing. That's what it said, in the condition it was in at closing. That's what it says, but then nobody does a walkthrough at closing. So you were operating in the capacity of a realtor and representing the buyer, is that it?
Yes, I'm the realtor.
Okay, so now when you go in there, according to you, you're not going to return the security deposit. Why?
So when I got to the property, I noticed garbage outside the property. When I went in the property, first thing I noticed was a heavy smell of smoke in the property. I actually had to open all the windows to get some fresh air in the property. Then when walking in the property, I saw another garbage, heavy duty furniture in the property that they didn't take out. Then I noticed holes on the walls. Again, in the inspection, it doesn't say that it has holes, only one. And then when looking in the property,
the inspection happens. Stop. The inspection happens when people are still living there. The holes happen when people move out and they take their TVs and everything else. Wow, you guys really left this place filthy.
In their contract, they have to leave
Ms.
the property.
Gianna, you left it really filthy. In their contract, what?
They have to leave the property in a clean condition while appliances working, the lawn is cut, the pool is maintenance. It's all of those stuff never happened. They even left pee in the toilet.
Okay, let's see about we're talking about the contract. It is understood that seller shall vacate the property and deliver possession, and the property shall be left in clean condition with all appliances in working order. I think that we can all agree that you didn't particularly leave it in a very clean condition. Can we not?
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely agree with that. It was a fixer-upper.
In fact, you left your bedroom furniture and a bunch of garbage behind for them, didn't you?
The basketball hoop was left there.
Right, that's a hassle for someone else to take out. And what about the bedroom furniture? You left that behind?
The bedroom furniture, and unfortunately, I don't have the text messages to back any of this up, but the text message I left on October 19th, she went in the house, she said, "You left the furniture here." I said, "Yes." Somebody was supposed to come by and pick that up, but they didn't, unfortunately. Is that okay? And she never responded to me. So I would have
it's not okay.
More than happy. I know, but she didn't say that. If it's not okay, I would have come back and
no, but see, no, you're not understanding. It's your job to get it out of there. If that person hadn't picked it up by the time you moved out, you don't get to leave it there for that person to pick it up because this can happen. So now let me go through the kinds of things that caused you to keep the deposit. According to you, there's a baseboard that was missing. And according to you, Ms. Gianna, that baseboard was always missing.
Mm-hmm.
According to our inspection, there were a few pieces of baseboard that are missing, but I was not talking only about them. Few baseboard were loose, the other ones were missing, not only the ones that were in the inspection report.
How are you going to prove that? How are you going to prove that there's more baseboards missing? What did they do, rip baseboards out to bother you? I mean, that doesn't make sense. That we know baseboards were missing, according to the report, right? So how is it you're going to prove that they ripped out more baseboards? Tell me, do you have pictures showing that at the time of inspection, it only looked one way? You know where you made the mistake. You're very thorough, but you made one mistake, which is not doing a walkthrough on the day of the closing. You needed to do a walkthrough and video everything on the day of the closing. The occupancy agreement says that they're going to give it to you the way it looked on the day of the closing, you know? And I understand why you did it. They still had their stuff there, but this is why you can't do this. This is why you need people out and you can't do favors for people, because this is the kind of thing that comes up. Invariably, it comes up. Let's go over the rest of the stuff. According to you, they left the furniture. That's definitely, you're right about that. And boxes in the shed and an outdoor basketball net, you are definitely right about that. When they removed the TV, you had to replace the drywall and paint the inside, which cost $2,700. You can't take that out of their stuff because there's nothing in the as-is contract for the sale of the house. It says that they have to patch up the holes from the things that you can see are nailed in and screwed in when you bought the house. So you don't get
Your
that.
Honor.
That means that what you had to pay to remove the garbage from the place, which you say was $775 that you guys are entitled to. And the plaintiff is entitled to $725 back. I am ruling in your favor in the amount of $725. Ms. Gianna, good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
Ms. Mushloff, you realize you should have done the walkthrough right after they left. You realize that was a mistake, right?
Yes. I will respect the judge's decision. I truly believe that they had to pay for the full amount, which is not a lot compared to what my client really paid for her loss in the property.
All right. Well, that's the judge's decision. You're going to have to live with it. Ms. Gianna, let me ask you, you feel kind of bad about all the stuff you left there? I mean, she said you didn't even, one of the toilets hadn't even been flushed when you left. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm actually still not sure how that actually happened, because I can promise you when I left, that wasn't like that. However, I do feel bad that things were left that way, because it was my home for 4 years. But it was a fixer-upper, so she knew what she purchased.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. That's the judge's decision.
Defendant in this case made a critical error by not establishing a baseline from which somebody, a judge, could determine on a later date, were things left in the right condition or were they not left in the right condition?
Right, because the rental agreement for the 2 months said you have to leave it the way it was at closing, and no one knows how it was at closing.
Big mystery how things were at closing.
But, it's hard. I understand why the defendant didn't, may not have been that keen on doing it, because it's hard because the people are still there. That's why you can't grace them with your generosity.
I got the impression you're not a big fan of this post-occupancy.
Get out. Just get out, and I want you out, and I want to see exactly what I'm getting before I sign the papers and get it.
So Jim wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, if one gets stopped for whatever reason by the police, is it illegal to refuse removing your mask or face shield? Asking for a friend, LOL. Well, look, if the police tell you that you got to remove your mask so they can ID you, and they're standing, far away from you and they have a mask on, you got to comply. I mean, they do that for a reason, because they have to identify you. And if you've given them your driver's license, they're going to compare the driver's license to your face, and you got to show your face.